Hi, new show on the YouTube. It's my channel KG Show, which is all about new things about the automotive industry and possible new launches and new products which I think how good they are, how they are not. But let's get to the big one. Starting off the episode of many episodes to come is the new Land Rover Evoque Hybrid. And don't forget the Evoque and the Discovery Sport Hybrid. Now these two hybrids have been a long eagerly waiting time period about they should for prime example, I'm seeing YouTube videos and comment sections, people saying, when is there an electrified Land Rover? When there's a hybrid? And Land Rover have answered you people prayers. But this is my opinion though. Is the Evoque hybrid worth the wait? Now let's give you a little background check on the Evoque. It was first launched in 2011 under a massive campaign of Beckham fever, of Beckham design. Some people argue it was some involvements of Victoria Beckham, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Arnold in Hummer, like Arnold, influence in the Hummer, certainly. But one thing I have to understand is what Victoria Beckham influence was the styling factor. In a time 9 years ago, we don't have these coupe roof lines being, coupe roof lines, rakish SUVs. We did not have them. As you can see, it's a BMW X6. This is a very early BMW X6 as you can see. And you can see the roofline in the X6 as a far significant answer why I don't like the X6. The roofline might be my problem, but there are many people who believe the life logic that it's good to be noticed than unnoticed. So I think I have joined the bandwagon. I like to be noticed. So let's get the fact. But the thing is, the Land Rover Evoque was one of those things. The early Evoques, though, not quite perfect. The rear seat space was a little bit of a controversy. Boot space was a bit of a problem. And what can I say? Other than that, there was nothing wrong with it. But the key to understand about the Evoque is that it was not persuaded by Land Rover to bring the Evoque into business. It was the Audi Q3, actually the Q2 actually was a Q3 persuasion at the time to bring forward this sector. Now the current Land Rover production now for since 2011 now is in its second generation, the Land Rover Evoque. And it's very important to understand the Land Rover Evoque is where I like to call the stylish part of Land Rover, which inspired the rest of the Land Rover line like the Valag and such that. But if you're a consumer or a customer looking to buy your next Evoque, there are engine choices to pick, the turbocharged 2-liter engines to pick from. My favorite is the petrol engines because I'm not a favor of diesel engines. I pick not on diesel engines, but there are many people I know who love diesel engines. I truly know the value, but it's not so much my favorite. But the thing is, the new Evoque's interior has been a criteria factor. Famously, many people have quoted that Evoque is a very stylish beauty, but its problem, it has flaws. But I agree about the first generation about its flaws, but not so much about the current generation. The current generation is a bit bigger than the first generation. It has more powerful engines than ever before. It now has a hybrid model. How much more you want to complete Evoque lineup if you really want to complete? And also, I think the new Evoque is very more matured in a certain way, no longer fancy styling. It is fancy, but it's more butch, a little bit more, what is the word I would say, muscular about itself. Now the prices of Evoque can range up little as $40,000 or $50,000, but the pricing can change according to the continents where you stay. Now in the States, we all know that Evoque can cost up to $70,000 to $80,000 depending on your optional extras you pick. So about the new Evoque, other than price, because if I say the price, you would go from the video right now, but be with me on this. Now the Evoque's engine in the Evoque Hybrid is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine with electric motors to give a total output which I think over 300 horsepower. As the engine output seems adequate for you, you might think that's more powerful than the 2-liter turbo, this range-topping form. Yes, it is, but you have to understand in hybrid form that extra bit of juice from that engine comes from the electric motor which kicks in. So that means end of the day you end up with that same 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. So if you're buying a hybrid, remember they are good in drag races because of the instant torque that kicks it through, like EV, like the Tesla Model S has tremendous drag racer, which no argument about it, obviously, there is nothing to think about. And the matter of the fact is, the hybrid model for the Evoque, for me, put the cherry on the top for a very successful product indeed. Now, another thing I love about the new Evoque is that let me say this, it's positioned perfectly in the lineup. It's in a certain way. It no longer have to chase a mid-size SUV category of sales. Now it can focus on the subcompact, or I don't know, modern day world has so many different categories and names like subcompact, compact. I just don't know. I mean, the way I see things is compact luxury SUVs. That's how I call them. Correct me if you all can. Correct me if you can, please. Nothing against that, please. Please correct me on that if you want to. But far as the Evoque's main concern in the older generation, which sort of gave me a bit of a setback, was it had a space problem in the back. Its headroom and the knee room was a little bit of a question, and the wheelbase was a little bit scrutinized because back in 2011, the model lineup you had in the Land Rover lineup was the Range Rover, the Discovery, so the Land Rover, so the Range Rover Sport, the Discovery, and the Defender. Now that's a lineup of four vehicles, right? That's only four. But you have to understand, and also the Freelander. Forgot about the Freelander, and the Freelander existed. What you have to understand is, it didn't matter what the Evoque came on. The original Freeland and the Evoque shared certain parts, and you can see that little bit of sharing components with the Tatas. They are compact SUVs. Indians call it mid-size, we call it compact. I mean, that difference on the specifications. I mean, North America you call it compact, and then India you call it mid-size. That depends on total factors. It doesn't matter. The fact is, the old platform gave a rise to such a beauty like the Land Rover Evoque gear. This beauty can make you think, appreciate what beauty is. Now, the thing about the Vogue is, many more journalists have driven at the moment have came to a safe conclusion. It's not the sportiest to drive, but it's very comfortable in Land Rover fashion. And myself, I have not driven one yet, but I can assure you something. I do not expect the Vogue to be sporty. I do not expect it to be sporty in any regards because it's not meant to be sporty. You want sportiness? Buy yourself a Porsche Macan or let's say BMW X3M or a competition, something like that. Now, the only thing I have lacking with the Evo Grain is lack of a SVR model. I really hope they have a SVR model to juice up the Evo a little bit. Other than that, I don't see a problem. Now, before now, one last topic I want to talk about. One last I want to talk about about the Evoque is its cousin, or I would like to call its more macho cousin, like I described here, the more macho one. The Discovery Sport also now has a plug-in hybrid, or I will not go the details, a hybrid model. It also makes 300 plus horsepower in the Discovery Sport, and of course, I recommend you to choose between them. You got to decide what you're going to buy. What you're going to buy. But this is the thing about the Discovery Sport. Famously, Johnny Smith, fifth gear host, one of my favorite hosts actually, Johnny Smith, he famously quoted the words that it's the all the vehicle you ever need. And the reason he said that is not simply because you had seven seats and you had a very stylish exterior combined with a good interior and offered capabilities as we expect from a Land Rover. So really, it's not a problem why Johnny said that very clearly. Why Mr. Johnny Smith said that. I mean, there's no reason why he did not say that. I agree with him. That's the best thing you ever want. But the problem is, at the launch, the diesel engine you had was the Freeland unit, so it wasn't the best engine to represent the show with. But what can I say? It made sense and truly one of the factors. Now, from my point of view, as a conclusion for this, on this video, I like to put a safe conclusion. If you're picking between the Discovery Sport and the Evoque, decide what you want. Do you want the stylishness and the cool factor about the Evoque, or the practicality about the three-door capacity of the Discovery Sport? You pick. If you pick the right choice, I have no doubt about it. And one more detail I want to say. People are keep saying about the reliability factors. Any luxury brand is unreliable. BMW is incredibly unreliable. Mercedes-Benz is unreliable for years. No one talks about it. So please don't think about that part when you buy a Land Rover. Think about it, but don't focus on the entire purchase around that, because every brand is broken. Every brand needs to think about their reliability. So Land Rover isn't the only brand that thinks about reliability. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. Stay home, stay safe.